Okay, Series 3, Episode 1 starts with a crime scene, presented to us as like a tableau of macabre-looking mannequins, involving two children and a man alongside our murdered female victim. They're almost posed in this domestic scene, gathered around a table. The victim's Danish, who was killed on Swedish soil, which results in Saga once again having to team up with a Danish detective to assist with the investigation. Okay, so again, right at the beginning, we have this binary of light and dark. We have this binary of life and death created from the start. So Saga's partner for this case is Hannah Thompson, who's reluctant to join forces with Saga, especially as she knows that she's been instrumental in Martin's imprisonment in the last season. So again, it's binary between nations is formed. We learn that the victim is someone called Helle Anker, who's an outspoken political activist on gender neutrality and lesbian, gay and bisexual rights and transgender rights as well, who also started a gender neutral nursery in Copenhagen, and as a result received many death threats. So conveniently enough, her body was found on a construction site owned by the husband of a right-wing vlogger called Lise Thries Andersen, who's one of Helle's most sort of vocal critics. So again, this possible binary regarding identity and politics start to form. A second body's found, that of Fabian Christensen, who's the first Danish priest to marry a same-sex couple, which seems to point that the killer has a political agenda. So this idea about left-wing and right-wing, that binary is starting to be created. We also see the beginnings of this multi-thread narrative in the show involving Saga and her personal life. So the scene where she kind of loses control after returning home from a night at work. She loses control because she sees a middle-aged woman sitting on her doorstep who claims to know that her father is dying. So at that point we can assume that it is her mum, and it reveals something about Saga's life, and the binary between parent and childhood is formed. So lots of binaries running throughout this. That leads Saga to do something that people with her mental state often do, and it's about making order out of chaos. So we see a scene where she starts to rearrange the books on her shelves in her flat, and it serves to tell us more about her character, that need for control and containment in her life. Again, that binary of control and disorder is shown. Towards the end of the episode, the uneasy relationship between the two detectives, Hannah and Saga, continues up until the point where Hannah loses her footing in an explosion when she tries to enter the trailer of Helle's son, Morten, who is an ex-soldier. Morten's suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, but denies any connection with his mum's killing. But some numbers are found in his fridge that will eventually prove to be the key to this complicated mystery. So we have sort of an enigma right at the end of the episode that's almost like a cliffhanger. Okay, so lots of binaries to explore there, lots of ideas to do with narrative, so lots of cause and effect, lots of Todorow's narrative you can map out in this episode as well. And there's lots to be going on with. So we need to start thinking about the meaning and how that is shaped throughout this episode.